I would like to thank Alana Trotman for sending me the story. And before I even begin to give commentary about this, I swear I think I'm one of the few people on YouTube, or at least in this sector, that gives some of the most wildest, craziest, weirdest, out of this world type of stories ever. I've said it before and I'll continue to say it because it has deemed to be true. And it almost seems like I will always say that this is probably one of the craziest stories I've read all year, but then another story comes along the way and it proves that that statement can no longer be said because it'll always be one that's going to top it. And this story I'm about to bring to you is going to prove just that. Now, when I got this story and I read just a little bit of the headline, at first I thought it was a story that I already covered, but it wasn't. And I thought it was because of the subject matter and because it involved an older man and it was in Florida and something else in which I'm going to talk about. As a matter of fact, if you look closely at this image that you're looking at right here, you can kind of make out, well, not so much the person, but the pictures on the sides, you can pretty much make out where I'm about to head with this. So in this picture, you see a man by the name of Gary Van Ryswick. I'm guessing that's how you pronounce his name, and he's 74 years old. I'm going to read to you the title of this article. It says, Florida man, 74, castrated another man he met online, fetish site for eunuchs using skills he learned while working on a farm in his youth before the victim was found inside the man's home with his testicles in a jar by the side of the bed. That is just the title of the video. Now, it's coming from the Daily Mail. The Daily Mail loves putting out these extremely inflammatory, crazy titles, but that's the title nonetheless. I haven't even read the article yet. That's not a paragraph from the article, but that was a paragraph of a title. Now you can see in the picture right here, you see what is looking like was supposed to be a man's anatomy, and it has scissors and a scalpel in his picture there. And I just read to you the title. I have not gotten into the article yet. So if that's the title, you already know that the article itself is going to be even more extreme. That's why I say, I swear y'all love sending me crazy stories, and they all come from Florida for the most part. It says a 74-year-old Florida man has been arrested for castrating another man he met online in an online fetish site for eunuchs. Now, the reason why I thought this was the other story is because if you remember, I did another story that came out of Florida where a man had found out his wife was sleeping with the neighbor and he went over there and he castrated that man. So I thought that this was the same story, but I was like, no, it couldn't be because I already talked about that one. And usually my subscribers won't send me a story that I already talked about. And then this is what I come across. I had to pause the video right quick because I wasn't too sure of the definition of a eunuch. And let me tell you something right now. That has got to be the most weirdest things I have ever seen in my life. And the fact they said this was a fetish site that he was on for eunuchs. If y'all don't know what a eunuch is, basically this guy just performed that act on this person. It's basically a person that has I'll just say he doesn't have a dick. If y'all watch Game of Thrones, the Grey Worm character, he was basically a eunuch. That's what a eunuch is. And the fact they actually have a site for that is just very disturbing. It says Gary Van Ryswick, who doesn't have a license to practice medicine, but they all don't, allegedly performed the botched procedure Sunday around 10 p.m. a week after he met the 53-year-old man on eunuch.com, a website for people who have a castration fetish. My goodness. Deputies from the Highlands County Sheriff's Office said they responded to a home in Sebring after dispatch received a 911 hang-up. An officer was sent to the home just before midnight, and Van Ryswick told him he had just performed a castration on a man. Van Ryswick then escorted the officer to a room where the victim, who was from Tampa, was bleeding heavily with a towel over his groin. Near the bed, the deputy found a pink container that was holding the man's testicles. Authorities said the victim was rushed to a hospital and then later flown to a regional medical center for life-saving measures. He is currently listed in stable condition. According to a police report, the room where the man was found was set up like a surgical center with medical equipment and painkillers. There was also a camera set up to record the procedure. So I'm guessing, my thing is, was that video going to end up on that eunuch website? It is crazy how when I do stories like this of the weirdest things that I can discover, it's no way in hell I would ever go and even mistakenly land on a website like that, because I didn't even know something like that existed. Van Ryswyk told deputies that they had conversations about the procedure on eunuch.com. He allegedly told the victim he had experience on bulls and other animals while living on a farm during his childhood. Police said Van Ryswyk had even removed one of his own testicles in 2012. Now, mind you, he says he removed his own. He didn't go to a doctor for that. He did it himself. Van Ryswyk also told authorities that he had tried to perform the procedure on the victim a week earlier. According to BuzzFeed News, Van Ryswyk told investigators that the procedure was delayed after the man became aroused and ejaculated while Van Ryswyk tried to sanitize his penis. This story just keeps getting weirder and weirder. Authorities said Van Ryswyk confessed to performing a similar procedure on a man in a local motel a few years ago. That particular operation turned out to be just as bad as Van Ryswyk's recent alleged activities. Van Ryswyk told police he couldn't remember the man's name. That I bet he remembered that money though if he was paid. That victim went to the hospital, but law enforcement was never notified. Van Ryswyk was arrested Monday and charged with practicing medicine without a license, insulting and bodily injury, a second-degree felony. His bond was set at $250,000. He does not need a bond. And he needs to be as far away from anybody as possible. This guy literally is Hannibal Lecter in the flesh. That is all I have to say about this. I think I might have to title this video "No Words" or "No Comment," because like, how can you, I'm still stuck on the part that there is a website for eunuchs. Like that part really disturbs me. This whole thing is disturbing. I feel like, can somebody please just attach myself to a rocket labeled NASA? Nah, I'm not going to do that because that means I'd have to go to Florida. Put me on something and send me to another planet. Hell, send me to another galaxy at this point, because I done heard it all.